Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have Fluffal Ogdoadic. How does this deck work? There are surprisingly multiple ways this deck works. First off, you have some level 4 access, I guess, which makes Feral Imps. But you do have a bunch of level 4s that are important that you do want on field. Uh, a lot of Fluffle players will recognize Penguin into Dolphin into Bahamut Shark into Toad. That's a regular rank 4 play you make regularly. But we're going a bit deeper than that. We are going to do some even more crazy rank 4 stuff involving this thing and its interaction with the Ogdoadic cards too. Another thing, Toy Vendor discarding Ogdoadics you might want in the graveyard, like Null, Zoha, Aelith, Curse, or what's this thing's new name? Alert, and this is Nunu, Zoha. I'm not very familiar with the new TCG names. Please don't just make fun of me. But I'll just kind of get into deck profile now. We have the triple dog, basically Stratos. Really important for consistency, getting bear, wings, stuff like that. Penguin, free swarmer, also has a really good effect in the graveyard when it's used as fusion material to draw 2, discard 1. Very, very important. Dolphin's able to grab back a vendor and Foolish Burial any of your Fluffle monsters or an Edgem Saber. So that actually helps a lot. Edgem Saber can be useful if you want to summon a monster from your hand by top decking a Fluffle, then immediately drawing it with Toy Vendor. But you're usually sending Wings in most cases if you don't have that already. Wings is just such a nutty card. It basically says, if you control Toy Vendor and if you have this plus another Fluffle in your graveyard of any sort, draw 2 and search 1. Draw 2 and search. It's like really, really insane card. Definitely you have to run 3. We have the triple Edgem Chain. Edgem Chain, another really important card. It is a level 4, I guess, but you're never really normal summoning it, let's be real. You're usually discarding it for something like Toy Vendor, and Edgem Chain just searches any Frightful card, and the Frightful cards are very, very good. Frightful Patchwork is Pot of Greed, levels of Broken. It searches Polymerization plus any other of your Edgems, usually being Edgem Sabers, which can help a lot in terms of extension. You got Frightful Fusion, which just is Miracle Fusion. You can search Miracle Fusion. You can technically search Frightful. Let's not talk about. You're never searching Frightful Repairs, just as a MILF off whale. Let's be real. But yeah, Frightful Repair it's a one-off. It's a Garnet. It's for whale. You get it, but you're not gonna draw the Garnet out of 45 cards. Let's be real. Scythe is cool. Scythe just lets you fusion into a whale on your opponent's turn. Gives you a free pop. I don't know how useful it is in this build specifically, but you know, I'm still labbing it. It's still a work in progress. You got Fluffle Sheep. Fluffle Sheep. I had the decision between Owl, Sheep, and Cat. I didn't want to go over 45 cards. I was already pushing it a lot with 45 cards. I didn't want to go over that on top of that. So Sheep, it's kind of the best one out of Owl, and Cat, it just swarms the field even more, which is kind of what you need if you're making link plays like Cross Sheep and Appaloosa. So that's something, it's a really good search if you have, dog access and you already have access to everything you need, like Bear and Wings. Oh yeah, we haven't talked about Bear. Bear just searches Toy Vendor, and in theory you can search Polymerization with it, but not search, recover it. But you're never using that ability. You're just going to search Toy Vendor because the card is just absolutely broken. Frightful Fusion, I said, is basically a searchable Miracle Fusion. Double Poly, you do need to, not because you necessarily are using 2 in like any combo of some sort. Frightful Patchwork is one of the most broken support cards I've ever seen, and you need a Polymerization in deck. Plus, it's not bad to draw either. Having that extra summon into something like a Frightful Sabertooth is really nice. So you do need to run the Polymerizations. You've got the Patchwork, absolutely insane card. Search any Edgem, search Poly. You can search Edgem Chain and Poly fuse the Edgem Chain into like something like a whale. Edgem Chain gets fried for fusion, fuse something else on top of that, and you even have fright for whale, dump, repair, and repair says you can banish it from graveyard, summon a Fluffle or Edgem from your monster, and you can just go off to the races without even using your normal summon. It's absolutely dumb. You have a triple foolish burial goods, dump vendor, search anything you want, and vendor, the most broken card in the entire deck. Discard a card, draw one. If it's a Fluffle monster, summon any other monster in your hand, and if it's sent to the graveyard, which you will be sending to the graveyard at least 3 times in a turn, you can search any Fluffle monster. So that's kind of not once per turn, by the way. You can do some really dumb stuff with Toy Vendor, like Toy Vendor, discard Toy Vendor, draw one, search. Fluffle Wings draws 2, then sends Toy Vendor you control graveyard, search. You've even got some really dumb stuff like Future Summon Tiger, Pop Vendor, search. It's just search on search on search and on search. It's really, really dumb. That's kind of it for a very large Fluffle package. The Ogdoadic package, this is kind of the best small package you can kind of run. The one alert, the one curse, you kind of need the 2 level 8s just for level 8 plays. The thing about Ogdoadics, not only do they add a degree of grind to a deck, they also kind of help in terms of end board. Any rank 4 turns into an instant rank 8 because you can search stuff like Nihil or what's his new name, Noya. So that's kind of Feral Imps being broken. You can also make use of Rika Queen Strenna, and what Strenna can do is when it's tributed, mainly for an alert or a curse, you can just summon out a plant monster, which the new, well, not new, it came out in Blazing Vortex like 4 months ago, but it's still a really nice rank 9, kind of the best plant exceeds generic monster, I guess. It's basically a monster or spell negate, since you'll usually have a spell in your, you'll usually have access to a spell. So either a monster or a spell negate depending on what you do. So another free negate on top of a Hope Harbinger or a Dingirsu is really strong already. One Zoha, it's mainly a dump of Nunu. You're usually dumping Alert, but if you already have that, or Zoha is just a neat discard all around, since it not only does it add a degree of grind, it also just substitutes for any other card you might want in your graveyard in your hand. So something like a can I send Toy Vendor, or does it have to be a monster? Yeah, you can send Toy Vendor if it's in your hand. It can send Edgem Chain. It can send Wings. You can even send like one of your big abysses. There are lots of ways. Zoha is just a really neat card all around. Not to mention, Zoha also turns Null alive. Since Null dump Zoha is really good because Zoha just recovers itself, normal summon, special summon, go into Feral Imps, go off to the races. Really, really neat. Triple Noya, really good card, usually when you're searching off your Feral Imps, just so that you have access to it. The main combo is going to Feral Imps, search Noya, dump Curse, summon itself by tripling Feral Imps, summon back the Noya. Noya searches the Ogdoadic spell, and from here you can do a couple of things. You can use the Ogdoadic spell to dump Null, and then Null summons itself back, overlay into another Feral Imp, search another Null, and then this Null dumps itself to grab an alert, or you can just directly get the alert if you want. It does kind of get a little less resilient through that path, but if you go directly for alert, I mean, but still you've got that little flexible line. Oh yeah, and we should also talk about how Sabertooth and Kraken are level 8, so you have even better rank 8 access. Nunu, another really good card. Not only does it act as a pseudo extender, I say pseudo because you're kind of forced to go into King of the Feral Imps and you can't summon other monsters, but it is also able to dump an Alert or a Zoha depending on what you need. So a really nice card. It gains access to most of your package. Meanwhile, Naya just grabs Curse and Nunu, nothing else. Snake Lily is searchable. I just run 2 off just for I guess turn 3 if you're going to search it off. Noya, it's the TCG names are kind of weird, but it's just a really nice card overall. Free Foolish, free access to any of your grind cards. Really good. A good thing about the Ogdoadic, it's not only does it somewhat upgrade your end boards. It also adds a degree of grind to the deck. So even if you can, not only can you make like absolutely insane boards, even if the board is broken, you can still do some stupid things post turn 1. So the Ogdoadics just really kick in there. You've got the 1 copy of Frightful Whale. You can either summon it off a Edgem Scythe, or you just use normal Poly or Frightful Fusion. Summon it, its main utility turn 1 is to dump Frightful Repair, if you even need that, because most of the time you won't. Sabertooth, really good, just another recovery tool, summoning back extra Frightfurs. You can do some dumb stuff like Kraken send fusion into another Sabertooth revive Kraken send again, overlay into Dingirsu send again. That's just 3 cards dead on your opponent's field, and that's just solely off fusions. That was a kind of turn 2 play, but it's just absolutely a dumb card. Kraken, as I said, it can send a card, it can attack twice. It's just everything you want in an OTK tool, although you are most likely using it for either a link play or an OTK play. Frightful Tiger, you usually do make this turn 1 just to pop your own toy vendor, so you get even more gas, which does come up very, very often. Tiger, just another really good card, also a really good OTK tool. It can just blow up your opponent's entire board. Hyperiton is usually just summoned off the Strena. You just summon it for free, and it's basically monster negate every single turn. It's in that way, it's kind of like Savage, but you have even more like Boral counters in a way. You can negate traps, and in this deck you don't really make any trap negates apart from, say, Totally Awesome, so you might struggle against those decks specifically, but you know, this isn't even a competitive deck. It's more of a roguish option. You've got Hope Harbinger, another spell negate, very easy to access of just a singular Feral Imps. Dingirsu, if you're going second or you already have access to Hope Harbinger, in which case it's another rank 8 that can just really, it makes your boards really sticky and very difficult to deal with if it's not already difficult to deal with 5 negates. You've got the one Strena, another really, really great card. Mainly it's floating effect you want to look at. If you have another level 4 on the field, once you go for the Noya line, like, as I said, Curse, summon Noya, search Lily effect, dump the alert, and if you have another level 4 on the field, you overlay into Strena, then use alert's effect, summon it back, and then that just turns Feral Imps plus any extra level 4 into 2 negations, which is really, really strong if you ask me for such a compact package. Bahamut Shark, mainly making a Fluffal Dolphin, helps against Nibiru in most cases, also against trap decks since you don't have any other trap negations, so that's that. You got the 1 copy of Appaloosa, lots of negates. Half the negates of the board come from this singular card. Very easy to link climb into, and also very easy to protect thanks to the existence of Hope Harbinger. And finally, the 1 copy of Crossshape, very easy to trigger. Its fusion effect simply thanks to how searchable stuff like Fright for Patchwork, Polymerization, Fright for Fusion, all of that is. So the deck, it doesn't necessarily, it's kind of like Pendulum in the way where the combos are very hand reliant. So alright, so right here we have a test run. I'll start off with Patchwork, of course. Absolutely broken card. We'll grab a Poly and a Chain. We can use Toy Vendor discard Chain. That kind of turns off our actually, it might be a bit smarter to use Null right here to dump a Zoha. Use Zoha in order to pitch the Toy Vendor, add itself back to hand. Use the Toy Vendor in order to grab a Fluffal Dog or a Dolphin. Dolphin seems better since I'll just grab wings anyways. So now we can go for a Bahamut Shark line. And deck's broken. I'm gonna get this card. This just, as I said, Fluffle Wings is dumb. You'll see how many cards I have in my hand in like 10 seconds. Bahamut Shark first. This is your Nibiru protection. You have to activate Toy Vendor first. Toy Vendor to discard. Do I want to discard the other Toy Vendor? Do I want to discard the Toy Vendor? I really do. I really do. Nah, I'll discard Toy Vendor. I draw another poly, but that's fine. I want to keep the Edgem Chain in my hand just in the case of requiring. Just in the case of requiring it, I'll say. You can grab a Edgem Sabers. I'm mainly using the chain in terms of the draw effect. We'll draw a couple of cards. Toy Vendor will be triggered. Searching yet another wing, because right now all the wings in my great hand, all the wings are kind of useless, so I do want to get them out of my hand. We'll use Poly, summon out a Cruel Whale, using these two. Cruel Whale will dump a copy of Fright for Repair. Now, we can use the Sabers to top deck that dude. Summon out a Cross Sheep. Fright for Fusion into a... I don't want to go into Sabers since Fright, it won't really give me any value. Go into Kraken, use Cross Sheep's effect, grab a Null. Use the Fright for Repair. Okay, this is going to be really finicky, but I have Feral Imp access. I should have made an Apple before this, but you know, it's fine. We can overlay into a Feral Imp. Use Imp's effect, a detached chain, grab Noya, chain will trigger, or have I already used it? Oh no, it's only from hand or field. Sorry, I thought it was if it's entered graveyard anyhow. That's fine. It doesn't matter too much. We're just missing an extra search. Plus the Fright for Patchwork we have in our deck would be useless since we've lost both our polys. We're gonna go ahead and grab a couple of cards right here. Noya searching the Water Lily. We can use the Null in order to summon itself. Overlay into a Feral Imp. Search an extra card. I would probably search another Nunu just to dump a Zoha, since I'm most likely going to be dumping the alert off the Water Lily. So Nunu just kind of useful for later. Tribute, summon, and we have a rank 8 play. So 5 negates, 3 monsters, 1 spell trap, 1 toad, and we have a decent amount of follow-up with multiple possible rank 4 plays branching into a lot of, you know, lines. I've lost both my Feral Imps, so the extra Nunu might be a bit harmful than it's useful, but Hope Harbinger Detach Curse is just so good, summoning back the Nihil. Nihil grabbing another search, although I'm pretty sure I've lost my second Snake Lily already. Actually no, I have the second one still in deck, so that's kind of cool. That somewhat shows the how you cross over from the Fluffle side into the you know, Abhyss side, or Ogdoadic, whatever it's called now. Pretty cool combo overall. It's very, very non-linear, so you can have a lot of fun just calculating lines all day, and you probably still not find the best one. It's somewhat difficult to pilot for a combo deck, but having, not only do you have a really strong board, you also have some form of versatility and grind game, which kind of makes it strong. And going second, Fluffles can OTK, which is another good point. The deck, it's kind of cool as it's not competitive whatsoever. I haven't tested it. It's still, the deck's still under construction. I will probably update it sometime soon if I get more comfortable with it. But for now, that is all. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.